Hey!
Wait, he has one arm.
Hey!
You only have one arm. Where's your other
Where's your
arm?
other arm? Eric,
What?
you lost
I
your
have
right
this one.
arm.
Where's your other arm?
Where's your other arm?
What the heck happened?
Oh, I
The
replaced it with a microphone.
Oh,
Well, that's
Yeah.
easier than wearing the headband.
convenient.
That's true. Yeah.
No, it's right.
Just
here,
in,
it's right here.
just in case we have.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
there it is.
Wow! Thank goodness that
Ooh.
was.
Whew.
All right.
I mean, it was touch and go for a second, but then I'm glad you found your arm.
Yeah.
If you wanna be in the know about how we put together our little show, if you like to hear the puppeteers and play the characters that you cheer, so join us as we go below the frame.
Welcome to Below the Frame. I am Matt Vogel, and today on the show we are talking with and about Muppet performers who have the responsibility of playing characters that were originally performed or created by another Muppet performer. So joining me today is Eric Jacobson, Peter Linz, and Bill Barretta. Hey, fellas, welcome to Below the Frame.
Hey.
Hi.
You're a little,
Thanks for having
you're a little
us.
close. And you're a
Is
little
it-
close, Bill. You're close. You might want to move back. Peter,
Yeah?
you're looking up in we're over here.
I'm
And
sorry,
Eric-
Maddie. I don't see you.
Is it zoomed in?
No, look down. Now, I might be zoomed in. I don't know. But if you could just there we
Better?
go. That's good. Yeah, you're
Okay.
all good. You're good.
All
There we go. That's
Oh,
great.
Eric's lost.
Thank you.
What happened to Eric?
Eric?
He's lost in his windscreen.
I'm right here.
I don't it's well,
I'm right here. I just want to make sure I don't pop my peas.
no, please don't. There's nothing worse than
Nothing
popping
worse
the
than
Popping
peas.
your peas.
Popping your
Oh,
peas.
That's right. Oh man. Right? How you guys doing? I haven't really seen your faces. Well, I saw
Not good.
Eric's face, but I
Not
haven't
good.
seen. No, you're not good.
No.
What's going on?
Why aren't you
man?
good,
Nothing.
Billy?
Nothing's good.
Nothing.
Nothing's good.
Mm-mm.
Nothing. Name
No.
one thing. You can name one thing.
There is nothing.
When's the last time that you smiled? That's what this podcast is going to be. It's just random questions that are just boring, maybe conversations. When was the last time you smiled?
Oh, wow. Interesting. No, there it is.
It's really not. It's really not interesting.
That's
No.
that's
No,
what
it's
this
not at all.
podcast is doing. It's going to be helping each and every one of
Exactly.
us. Here
It is.
today.
It is. It's
That's
not
right.
just.
It's going to bring a
you know,
smile to Bill's face. It's going to
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it going to do for me, Matt?
Get that other arm back.
Geez, that's what I would hope, but I don't know. I don't know, Eric, because for me, you're still frozen. Looking down.
It's going to
Looking
unfreeze
down.
me.
It's
Oh, I
gonna-
hope so.
Oh, he's going to be
Hopefully.
unfrozen. How about Peter? What's going to happen for Peter?
Yeah, what's gonna happen for me? This is exciting.
His hair is going to dry.
Oh,
My hair's gonna dry. It's mostly dry.
Finally.
By the end of this
10
podcast,
years.
my hair will maybe be dry.
do you take a little bit of conditioner and just run it through those curls so it just
Yeah,
kind of activates
there's
and makes them nice
There's,
and
there's
curly?
some
Curls.
activator. There's a little bit of
Great
product
curls.
after post shower.
Right.
Best
What if
curls
you
in the
didn't?
business.
What if you didn't? What if you
If
didn't
I
do that?
if
What
I
would it
didn't,
be?
it would be straighter
Interesting.
and drier and wispier. It wouldn't have as much structure. It would
Like
just be-
Doc Brown from Back to the Future.
Precisely. Yeah.
And what a great question,
Great
Matt.
Scott!
Really.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks,
Yeah.
thanks, Bill. I appreciate it. That's
Really
the kind of
good.
thing
We're
that
gonna be
people.
doing-
That's why they come to Below the Frame.
I can
Right.
They
see
want
why
to know
both of your
what
listeners want
Peter's
to
hair
know.
routine. That's right.
They don't wanna
All right.
know.
Okay. So today we're talking about characters that we get to play, that another performer originated to play before us. So just to be clear, we'll go around here. Let's name the characters that you play that were originally played by somebody else, and who played it originally.
Mm,
Okay. So Bill.
yes. Rowlf the dog, Jim. Dr. Teeth, Jim.
Mm-hmm.
Mana, do we count that? Jim.
Yeah, count it.
And I think at one point New Zealand, but then now you
Oh.
do that. But yes, you do a much better
And that-
Lou.
And that was Jerry.
Oh, and that was Jerry and Swedish
Yeah.
Chef,
Yes. Yeah. Jim.
Jim.
Another Jim.
and that's
Yeah.
it. I think.
Yeah. Peter, what about you?
Yeah, so I perform Ernie, originally Jim Henson, of course. Harry Monster, which is Jerry Nelson. Statler, who was Richard Hunt. Robin, Jerry Nelson again. Link Hogthrob was Jim Henson. He says Mana, then I'll do one of the snouts, which I suppose were originally Frank.
Frank, right? Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Lips, of course.
Lips,
thank you.
yes.
Lips, who was Steve Whitmire.
Yeah, you had
I
one,
forgot
Bill,
one.
that you forgot?
Yeah, Cookie Monster. I've been doing that one for years now.
Really?
Yeah.
So
ever since
Yeah.
Frank got, remember he got pneumonia? And he was like,
Right.
I can't do this right now. That's when I started into it. So there's
Really?
Cookie. And Grover. But other than those two, I don't really do Sesame. Oh,
we'll come.
I
Go
thought
ahead.
No, it's all right. No, it's okay. That one.
We'll come back to that. We'll definitely come back to that
because
because that's
maybe I'm
interesting.
mistaken.
Okay.
Eric,
Yes.
who
Yes.
do you play, and who were they originally performed by?
Okay. So I thought I had been performing Grover, who Frank
No,
Oz.
That was
clearly
Bill.
originated
Clearly,
with.
that's
I
Bill.
guess that's
it's
Bill.
That's mine.
Yeah.
And Bert.
Yep.
On
Right.
Sesame Street. Do I still do him?
Yeah.
Right. I
Okay.
think so, right?
Okay.
I mean, why wouldn't you?
And that's Frank. And then let's see. Guy Smiley, that's Jim Henson. Oscar the Grouch.
Yep.
It's Carol
Grouchy.
Spinney.
Sure.
And the Newsman, that's Jim Henson. Fozzie Bear, Miss Piggy, Animal, Sam Eagle, all Frank Oz.
Yep.
And
How long is this? How much time is this podcast lasting? Because
Yeah.
This is probably going to carry over 4 parts.
I don't know. Have I left
Marvin
somebody out?
Suggs.
Marvin
Suggs.
Of
That was-
course. Who could forget Marvin Suggs?
One half of the two-headed monster.
Yeah, that's Jerry Nelson.
Yeah.
I'm still not sure which half that is that I play.
No one knows. And I'll do mine. I play Big Bird, and that was Carol Spinney. The Count and Fat Blue, or Mr. Johnson, those are both Jerry Nelson. The Pink Yip Yip Martian, that was Jerry. And Biff, that was Jerry. Those are all Sesame. And then Jerry Nelson characters, Floyd, Lou
No,
Zealand,
wait,
Craig.
no. Sorry.
What? Do you do which one?
Floyd.
You do Floyd.
Yeah.
And Dr. Teeth.
Right.
I'm always behind the drum set, so I don't know who plays who.
Did you say Animal, by the way, Eric? I don't remember. Did you
did
say
mention
Animal?
Animal.
Okay.
yeah, he might have mentioned Animal.
All right. Where was I? Floyd, New Zealand, Crazy Harry, Uncle Deadly, Pops, Dr. Julius Strangepork, Ma Bear, Camilla. Those were all Jerry. Sweetums, that was Richard, and Kermit the Frog. That was Jim Henson. So that's all the characters that we play that were played by somebody else.
Not
and I have
many.
Not a lot. And so I do please chime in with your thoughts, Bill. I know that you will. I have some questions because, our particular thoughts and feelings on this, they may be the same or they might be different. I don't know. But let's start by saying that someone taking on a role that was previously performed by somebody isn't really a new thing. It happened a lot over the years, like a lot. So the instances that I can think of, and then maybe if I forget any, see if you can remember. So or if you haven't, just chime in. So Brian Meal left Sesame Street, and so Marty took on Telly, and Pam Arciero took on Grungetta, which was played by Brian Meal. Richard Hunt, I think the story was he was frustrated with playing that little red monster, so he threw it at Kevin Clash, and that became Elmo. Jerry Nelson grew weary or was hurt by playing Snuffy, not hurt emotionally, but physically. And so Marty auditioned, and he now plays Snuffy. And Richard again, wasn't Richard the original Miss Piggy, or did that pig that was Miss Piggy become Miss Piggy?
At the dance. Yeah, I think at the dance.
How did that happen?
Originally was Richard, I think, in doing one of those dance bits for a while, right?
And a song or something too.
Well, there was
Well,
yeah.
It's Miss Piggy is she has a complicated past.
Ugh, tell me about it.
Frank was the first.
No, seriously, tell me about it. This is great.
Seriously, Frank was the first person to actually put that puppet on his hand.
But he's not very good.
And he lip synced. He lip synced that old Black Magic on the Tonight Show.
Oh.
So
wow.
it's debatable whether that's really Miss Piggy or not because it's not even her voice.
Yeah.
And then Jerry did the character on Jerry did the
What?
character on the Herb Alpert show. And
Whoa.
yeah. And
But her identity really didn't start
yeah.
until Frank got a hold of her, right? I mean,
yeah. I mean, it
personality
evolved, right? It
wise.
evolved as it was passed
Yeah.
along. I think didn't Fran do something with that puppet?
Gosh.
I don't know.
Who did
Let's get her on the phone.
Yeah. And
Wow.
and then of course Richard. It kind of went back and forth between Richard and Frank on the Muppet Show, and that's of course when the character really gained traction with an audience. So
Yeah, and I think the
it's-
dynamic between her and Kerm, all of that developed when Frank really took it on, right?
Usually the thing is, like, it's happened over the years that for one reason or another, usually because somebody like left the show or didn't, the character wasn't clicking for them, that a new performer just kind of came in. But then are there any others? And then I'll move on. If there are any other things that you can think of where some performer played it and then they were like,
I did Elmo's dad.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You did. But you were you were an originator of Louie, and then now
Right.
Tyler Bunch plays
Yeah.
Louie. That's right. Yeah.
There was that situation.
Yeah. But that's because you hate Elmo.
Sesame Street.
Oh, you hate Sesame Street.
Just
I'm
all-
sorry. Well, I
No.
associate Elmo. To me, it's Sesame.
So how do you come to like performing Cookie Monster if you don't really like it all that much?
That's true.
Well, because it was like a paycheck, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
Sometimes you got to do those jobs.
all the time.
All the time you got to do those jobs. Yeah.
I have no morals.
Yeah.
But with Elmo's dad, it turned out to be a logistical thing. Me being on the West Coast, I live on the West Coast, and them not wanting to fly me. But anyway,
Yeah. This is where we get all the things out.
but Tyler, he actually was the first person that came to mind when they were, when this was going to change, because I just thought there's something he kind of would, I don't know, and then he did it, and he was like, now he's great. He has a lot of fun with it. I guess I haven't seen a lot of what he's done, but I've seen, when he first started out, and it was really fun, really good.
Yeah, he does a great job.
But when Jim died, it was a whole different thing, right?
Jim died?
Now, yes, so many years ago now.
Oh,
but then
man.
they were kind of looking at whether to continue the iconic characters and how to do it, and it was because of a death, not because somebody left.
Right.
And most importantly, Kermit, of course, needed a new performer, so Steve stepped up. And there were those other classic Jim characters that you mentioned, Bill, like Rowlf and Swedish Chef and Dr. Teeth, and they didn't really have a voice for a little while, right? I mean, Dave did Waldorf in Muppet Christmas Carol.
We forgot
Dave
about
and Jerry.
that.
And Jerry.
Dave and
did
Jerry. Oh yeah,
Statler.
as far as picking
We
up
got
other
to
people's
mention
characters,
Jim and Dave with Waldorf.
Yes,
Dave,
So-
Dave and Jerry doing Statler and Waldorf.
Yeah,
Right.
so that was in
Carol.
Christmas Carol, but Rolf and Swedish Chef and Dr. Teeth. Swedish Chef did he was played by David Rudman in Muppet Christmas Carol, and he did have a little bit, but largely, like the others, they were silent.
Yeah, the first time I did Swedish Chef was in Muppet Treasure Island, and that was I don't even know what he said, but there was some little bit that he.
No
did.
one knows what he says.
Anybody ever know what he said?
Yeah, kind of.
Maybe.
At least what the intention is in my head. But and then Rolf also had a laugh. That was the first time I did Rolf. Was also Muppet Treasure Island, where he just went. It was to a joke that somebody made in the tavern or something.
I thought of another one. In Muppets from Space, Scooter. David Rudman wasn't performing Scooter yet, and I don't recall.
That's
who
right.
did, because he did have a line.
I think
Everybody
Adam.
Yeah, Adam.
Adam
looped
Hunt.
it.
Adam
Hunt,
looped
I
it.
think, looped it.
Okay.
I think.
Looped it, and then I think Brian
Brian did him for a little
did
bit.
Scooter for the Very Merry Muppet Christmas
That's
movie.
right. That's right.
Did he have a voice? Did he have a
Yeah,
voice?
he
in
did.
it?
Yeah.
Yes, he did. And then Ricky Boyd took him on
Wow.
for the Wizard of Oz, Muppets Wizard of Oz.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah. Didn't you do him, Matt? In a video game?
I did Scooter for a Muppets Race Mania or some game like that a million years ago. Yeah, that's true.
But I mean, it was clear that it was all just kind of like a temporary kind of we need the character for this project. Who can we try out with the character?
Who doesn't have anything to do
until it settled with David.
Now, and do you know how that happened? There was a big meeting in a hotel room with Jerry Nelson and with Debbie McClellan, and Steve Whitmire was there, and somebody from Puppet Heap. I can't remember now who it was, but then it was me and Marty Robinson and David Rudman were there, and we just sat with Jerry. All of us sat on the floor except for Jerry, who sat in the sofa, and he just talked about his characters. He talked about his version of the history of how Floyd met Dr. Teeth, and he talked about Robin and how he would make his he would purse his lips to try to get he was sucking through a straw to try to get the voice out and other things like that. But he also talked a lot about Floyd and Janice, and because David was there, and the thought, I think, and I'm pretty sure that the thought this was all Steve's idea. I'm pretty sure because Jerry was no longer wanting to travel. He was ill and didn't really want to travel to the West Coast to do Muppet stuff. And they wanted to find permanent performers for Jerry's characters and for Richard's characters. So we just sat there, and Jerry kind of talked to David about Richard. And of course, David knew Richard quite well, but to get Jerry's perspective on that relationship was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
So that's kind of how that, as far as I understand, that's how he got those roles, and that's how I got those roles from Jerry, the Muppet characters.
Wow, that's very cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm not even sure how I ended up doing. Well, no, that's not true. I guess. Actually, I don't know if it helped what I did to get it or not. But when we were toward the end of Dinosaurs, after 3.5 years, was assisting some of the other guys with some of the puppet dinosaurs, so I was kind of trying background stuff and playing, and so I started practicing at home because I thought, well, this could be kind of fun, and I also
wait, I'm sorry, you were not a trained puppeteer.
Oh no,
He
right?
was
you were a suit performer.
Yeah, I mean,
you were an actor.
He was an actor.
Right, yeah, I wanted to be an actor, but then I got to do, my little stuff inside of the big rubber suit, interpreting my dialogue through behavior. Acting
and reacting.
So I was not, there was no puppeteer world in my head, really. Although when we were kids, my brother wanted to do it. He wrote to Jim, and we did that for a few months or a summer or something. But no, I never thought of a puppeteer. So anyway, so I was watching people and I was assisting, and so I remember thinking, no, there isn't that quality of growl characters happening. There's no Jim Growly characters after he passed away. Nobody was kind of doing it. And I thought, gee, that'd be kind of, I don't know, can I do that? And I was trying it, at home on my own. And I built this really bad Rowlf. I don't even know if I have him. He's in storage somewhere. Terrible thing that I was playing with at home with a camera, and stuff. And I ended up, I recorded Looking Out My Back Door, Creedence Clearwater Revival, with Rowlf singing, do, looking out my back door. And that's what I used to just play around and rehearse. And Brian heard the song. I played it for him. He was like, oh, that's interesting. And I don't think he thought I could maybe puppeteer, yet. So then I went on to do Treasure Island. I got invited to do Treasure Island. Anyway, the timeline might be a little off as far as that. But anyway, so he had heard that recording, I guess, and thought at least audibly maybe it's kind of close-ish,
Yeah.
But it was never like, okay, Bill, you're going to do Rowlf, and Bill, you're going to do Chef. Or, it was never like said. It was they gave me the thing, and I did him, and then it just the next one. I don't know how it was decided actually. Weird.
That was you mentioned New Zealand earlier. That was how I remembered now. That's kind of how it happened with you giving him over to me. It was during Letters to Santa. And you just came up to me and just gave the puppet to me, like, here, just do what's your Lou? And I was like, what's he say? And you said the line, and I was like, okay. And I did the line, and you were like, okay, go. And I was like,
that's better.
Okay,
That's better than me.
It's insane.
Yeah,
but there was not like, and in any of these, even with that thing with Jerry, there was no like formal. You are now this. There was never any of that. It was like, hey, you want to come in? Can you come and do this? It was basically just saying.
Just evolved somehow.
That was that was my experience with a lot of the characters I inherited. Like they had like formal auditions, but then nobody ever said you got the part.
Right. Well,
you just wound up like being, they kind of try you out, and if you don't like completely fall flat on your face, you get to keep doing it.
Well,
but I'm still worried.
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
No, can I just say one thing though? In Eric's case, right? No, nothing against anybody else, but it was very clear that there was one person.
Yeah.
Right. It wasn't like, who are we going to choose between? It was. Can he do it? Will he come do it? It really was that, and I remember Dave being so blown away at the read through when we did
Very Merry
Muppet Christmas.
Yeah.
Dave was like, he looked to see if Frank was there, but it really was that. I remember it being like, well, anybody else? I don't think so.
Well, can you tell somebody, like, give me a call?
Oh yeah,
because he still doesn't know.
He still don't know.
Not
he still doesn't know.
But he's got it.
He's not, he doesn't. Yeah. He's been auditioning all these years.
It's been like 24 years, and
every new project is an audition for this guy.
But Eric, was that the first time that you had done Miss Piggy and Fozzie? Was it for Very Merry, or had you done it in any other like anything else prior to that?
Well, I think the first thing I did was I just did Miss Piggy's voice for like a Virgin Atlantic commercial or Virgin Airways, like.
Oh wow!
But it was in the UK. They had already shot it. I think they'd already shot it, and Kevin Clash had puppeteered it. But then they were like, yeah, well, now we need the voice. And so that was like the first thing I did, and for Miss Piggy. And but I had already been doing some of Frank's characters on Sesame Street, and so I had that under my belt, and I'd been puppeteering for a while on the show, so I felt pretty confident that way. But I mean, yeah, Miss Piggy, even after doing Grover and Bert on Sesame Street, that was a daunting thing to take on, like to do that specific character. So I was perfectly happy just doing the voice for at first, and then slowly, kind of move into the role. But as far as like a big, it was pretty much, it wasn't really slow. Like very soon after we did the Weezer video.
Oh yeah.
Right. And that's the first time I put Fozzie on for an official project.
All right.
And Miss Piggy was also in that. And then I feel like we did that one day, and maybe like that afternoon after we shot, we went and did the read through for the Very Merry. It was all like, it was at least during the same trip. And then it was just like off off to the races after that.
Can I add one little thing? Just something about this. So the traditional idea is that somehow you become another person's character, right? You take it on, and right. But there are also instances where we fill in for each other just because whatever. Two characters of ours are in the same scene, or somebody doesn't feel well, whatever that is. But I just want to mention too, Peter, you never really got a chance to full out kind of do Piggy because you knew Frank was going to loop for you. And I don't think a lot of people realize this, but Peter's performance with Piggy in Muppets from Space was unbelievable. She was really amazing, and people don't know that. People don't know that you did all of that Piggy stuff, except for maybe one
anything
bit, right?
anything that took part inside the television studio where the UFO Today, whatever that show was. Right. That was and the Josh what was his name? He gets in a fight with Piggy.
Right, the fight.
The fight. I mean, I was assisting. But that was before Eric took over the Pig. But I never had the voice like Eric. Nowhere near. In fact, Eric and I auditioned. We actually auditioned. Kevin was running the audition over at 117 at the old Henson offices, and I went, and then Eric went after me. Did we assist for each other? For some reason we were both there.
I think Kevin was late to the audition, and so there was a line kind of backed up outside the door, and so we instead of it being awkward, us two being there together, we just chose to cheer each other on.
That's great.
Yeah, absolutely. It was actually kind of calming really nice. To have a friend there. But I knew, the second that I heard Eric's Piggy,
you hear Eric,
damn.
Right?
Done. That's it.
Yeah, but to this day, Peter, you're one of just a handful of people, two, that I really trust to puppeteer the character if I'm not able to.
Oh, you don't like when I do it?
I said two. I mean, you guys can try and decide which
I'm not. Then I'm the one that's out. That's fine.
Who's number two?
Jeez. Yeah, who's number two, Eric?
You all know.
That's the answer. I do want to say before we get off this that the only reason I got to do the Pig for Muppets from Space is that Steve really didn't want to. And he's like, here, and he's like, you do it. And he kind of looked at me, and I was like, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, of course I will. Okay, great, you're doing it. And Bill, we didn't really know each other at the time, and you're like, you sure you got this? You sure? Yeah.
Bill, were you puppet cap? Were you puppet captain on that film?
Yeah, he was.
You were, okay.
He was, because Kevin wasn't able to be there for most of it. I said, yeah, absolutely. He said, okay, all right, and in his sweet Bill way, and
it was amazing.
And then just did it, and it was tremendous fun. My daughters, my little twin girls were barely 2 years old at the time. And I remember Marlena saying to the girls, you know what Daddy does for work? Daddy go to work, hold up pig puppet.
And it's that puppet is not easy, which is probably why Eric doesn't have me do it. It's not an easy
I avoid
puppet.
It completely. It's very physical, and a lot of the stuff that you did in Muppets from Space, Peter, very physical. Puppetry, which looks beautiful and effortless, But she's always physical, Eric. It's all and her outfits and her head and her mouth, and I won't have anything to do with that picture.
I don't either, but I think it's too late.
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows? We don't know. You have not heard for sure.
Still waiting.
But Eric, Frank has given his blessing on all of, because you perform so many of Frank's characters. He's given his blessing to you. He's spoken with you surely and told you about how great a job you're doing. Good.
Oh, that's not what he said to me.
Let's get him on the phone.
Yeah, hold on. Let's see if we can get him. I'll try. Go ahead. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, keep going while he tries them.
Was it what project? Oh, it was Letters to Santa. We were doing something. I guess it was Fozzie, and Frank was, and it was all like, "Oh, Frank's coming!" And Eric's like,
I went and I hid.
Yeah.
I hid behind a monitor. I think the very monitor that he was watching.
That he was right.
Yeah.
He was like,
Okay, that's going to end part one of our talk with Muppet Performers Bill Barretta, Peter Linz, and Eric Jacobson. Thank you, gentlemen. But fear not, we will be back next episode for part two. And we'll get advice we've gotten from the great Dave Goles about performing our characters. We will talk about the dynamics of the ensemble of Muppet Performers and how our relationships might, maybe they mirror the relationships of the characters that we play. Maybe, sort of, maybe not. Plus a whole lot more. So join us next time when we go Below the Frame. See you later. Bye-bye. Below the Frame is a Welcome Matt production produced by me, Matt Vogel. The theme song was written by Stephanie DeBruzzo and myself and performed by my band, The Mighty Weaklings. Thanks to Dave Hulteen at DaveHulteenDesign.com. He created our podcast art. You can follow me on Instagram at WelcomeMattV or search Matt Vogel. I post things every now and again, and it'll help you know when new episodes of this podcast, for example, are coming out. If you are sharing podcasts, please let somebody know about this one. And also, if you have a few seconds, just rate and review this one. I'm sure that pleases the podcast gods or something. You can find Below the Frame wherever you get your podcasts, and we are now a video podcast on YouTube, so you can see our faces if that's something that you want to do. Thanks everybody out there for listening. I am Matt Vogel, and we will see you next time when we go Below the Frame.
Go below the frame.
I'm hearing an echo.
Yeah, you
I
are.
think in Eric's room.
Yep. Yep. I'm trying to fix that.
Not on your headphones, or
I am,
what's
but
going on?
it's not. For some reason, it's not playing through my headphones.
Did you select?
And I'm trying to figure that out.
can I make mine echo?